What is up, people? Welcome, welcome back. Welcome to my basement. How we doing? How are we doing here? It's the 315 postgame show. Syracuse loses to Tennessee season opener. What was the score? 45-26. 45-26, Tennessee. How are we doing, chat? How are we doing, everybody out there in Cuse land? Great to see y'all. Glad you've come to hang out here on our post-game show today. So we got a lot of stuff going on here, and we're going to try to make it all work. What's up, Ryan? What's up, everyone in the chat? Zach, Ryan, Devin, all the familiar, Michael, all the familiar names and faces. Great to see y'all. We'll hang out here for a little bit. We'll do a few things. We're going to try some things out that might work. We've tested them. Famous last words. They worked when we tested them. But as you can see, there is a pinned comment at the top of the live chat. There's a pinned comment at the top of the live chat. It has a link in it. The link allows you to connect via the like a video call right to me, and then I can put you on the air and we can talk to each other if things work. Like, I did a little test last night. It worked perfectly. Then I tried to test it like 10 minutes ago. Worked less perfectly. So we'll see how that all goes. So there's a link at the top. Best to do it on your phone. Hold your phone vertical like, and we can do that. And then, we don't have call screeners here. We don't have phone numbers. We don't have fancy things like that. We got a link there. So if you'd like to join the show, click the link, and we're going to try to do that, and we're going to see what happens. You know what? You know what also is good? As we see people, we're loading in the room. What also is good is come hang out in the chat, because I can see you all in the chat. What's up, John? What's up, Tony? What's up, Sean? What's up, Mark? What's up, Daniel? What's up, John again? So if that's not your bag, if you don't want to be on camera, if the technology goes wonky, if you don't feel like putting yourself in my basement, those are all acceptable things. Yeah, no censors either, Ryan. We're not on the freaking radio. We're on the internet. There are no rules. They're just like, don't kill somebody on your camera, and we should be good. So like, try not to curse up a storm. There could be kids here. But we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out together. So we'll have it all going. We'll try our best to see what's happening with all that. But the that link is pinned at the top there. So if you click the link, you should pop up on my screen, and then I should be able to clickety clack some buttons, and then do some things, and then get you on the air. So that is one way that we can do things today. We can also do things like we've always done it before. You're in the chat. I'm here. I can see the chat. I can read the chat. I can talk to you in the chat, and we can hang out in the chat here for a little while. So we'll see where this goes. We've got the stuff in the basement. We got a new on-air sign. It's on. So we got that. We got some new Syracuse stuff on the wall. We got some old Syracuse stuff on the wall. So we're all good with that. Before we get your thoughts on things, I'll give you just, quick top of the dome thoughts here. One, Tennessee's good. Tennessee is good. Tennessee has been good. They had a new quarterback. You didn't quite know. Let's just remember this grain of salt. That's SEC athletes. That's a team that was in the college football playoff last year. They went 6-2 in the SEC last year. That is a big boy football team. They got where do they get all these running backs? They got 17 guys that are like 6'2", 220. They just got running backs for days. Tennessee won the line of scrimmage reasonably convincingly on both sides of the ball today. Push comes to shove, that was the difference in today's game. I saw enough from various things. Well, they'll set the injuries aside on defense, but all right, so grain of salt, it was Tennessee. The opposite side of the grain of salt is, my goodness, look at the rest of the schedule. There's a lot of ish Tennessee on there this year. Steve Angeli is not Kyle McCord, but we knew that going in, and that's okay. You don't get Kyle McCord every year. But, man, Jeff Nixon's good at what he's doing. Yasin Willis is a freaking tank Will Nixon's going to be very useful this season. The outside weapons, I think they need to figure that out a little bit more. Still a little, you know, it was one last year where besides, think back. We know what happened with Pena and Jackson Meeks. Think back to this day last year. If you had told me Pena and Jackson Meeks were going to do that last year, I would have looked at you like you had 28 heads. Gadsden, sure. But that was an NFL quarterback that let that happen. Steve Angeli played like a solid college quarterback today. He's got room to grow. He's not a pro quarterback, at least today. That's okay. They can win games that way. The defense needs to make a step. Disconcerting to see how many injuries there were throughout the course of the game at the defensive line, especially the defensive tackle position. But, again, Tennessee on the other side, they had a massive offensive line. That line was absolutely huge. Won't necessarily see that every game the rest of the way, but that's one of the things, Fran has said it. Big guys beat up small guys. Dino, elephants and hippos, every coach for the rest of the time. The reason Dino's teams were always hurt is because their guys were smaller. Fran has tried to go get bigger guys. We'll see how that plays out over the course of the year. I predicted 7-5 yesterday. I was optimistic about the game today. The game played out sort of how I thought, except that Syracuse made all of the big mistakes. You give up a big pass, you get a fumble, you give it back the next play, things like that. The tipped interception to start the second half. There was just too much of that stuff. There's just too much of that stuff in the game. And then you talk about opener stuff, season opening mistakes, lining up penalties, stuff like that. Not that Tennessee had none, but Syracuse had way more of them than Tennessee. So that's that's stuff that you just want to avoid if you can. You want to avoid if you can. But we'll see where it goes from here. It was, I don't know. I'm encouraged. I'm discouraged. I don't quite know what to think after that game. I would have hoped, even though it's a lot of new players, we would have seen schematically the defense make a bigger step last year to this. We did not see that in game one. That said, it is an extremely young and new defense. Jeff Nixon, still a fantastic play caller. We saw that on the offensive side of things. Steve Angeli, this is going to be unfair to him all season. He's not Kyle McCord. What Steve Angeli appears to be good at is he can work the middle of the field. Now, McCord could do that too. But, man, McCord could work the boundaries like few can at the college level. The back shoulder throws, zipping it in. Now, it bit him a few times, but, man, it worked hundreds of times. Angeli doesn't quite seem to have the zipper accuracy on the outside ball to do stuff like that. We'll see where they turn. You might have to lean a little more on Yasin Willis in the play-action pass. Yasin, my goodness, what a bowling ball. Tennessee, large people. Yasin Willis was into the end zone 3 times today. Well, what's Yasin's final numbers? 23 carries, 91 yards, 3 touchdowns, 4 carry after a little bit of a sluggish start against Tennessee. Yeah. Angeli throws for 274. 57% completion percentage, 24-30. You'd like the percentage to be a little bit higher. Who's going to bust that? Who are the weapons out of this? I kind of liked Russell. Honestly, he popped more to me than Cook did during the game, just as Ross Simmons, is a good player, but he doesn't quite have as much explosiveness, I don't think, as some of the others. But Tyshawn Russell, where was he from? Louisville? Was he the Louisville guy? South Carolina guy? I don't know. We'll see where that stuff comes from, but there's pieces here, and I think, and this is going to be the hardest to do, if we can view this year in a 24-plus game stretch that includes next year, I think today's a good building block. If Angeli's going to be your guy for 2 years, if Willis is going to be your guy for 2 years, if there's a lot there that could be there for a while, I think it's a good first step. But we'll see where it goes off that. The defense is going to have to play better or you lose games. Yeah, I get it's Tennessee. They scored 45. The defensive effort, it wasn't there. It wasn't good enough. It wasn't good enough today. You need to play better defense. Not that the defense was great last season, but you had Fadil Diggs. You had a veteran in Justin Barron. You had Cinco Clark. You didn't have as much as you like. You had Marlowe Wax. You had some dudes that had legitimate high-level college football experience. You don't have nearly as much of that on the defense this year. Devin Grant down with the injury. You didn't want to see that. They're going to need a Deuce Chestnut to be a guy like that. I'll be intrigued to see who's going to be a guy like that on defense this year. I don't know if you have a Fidel Diggs. And then you had the Samuel, I don't want to say experiment, like they're clearly committed to that. Tennessee's game plan was like, hey, there's a 17-year-old. Let's throw it at him the whole game. That guy's 17. Let's throw it at him the whole game and see what happens. Well, he made a couple of nice plays, but not that he was. I don't want to say he was overmatched, because that would be one where you're like, wow, I don't get it. Like I don't get it. I don't get the deal with this guy. But I think he's got a chance to be something. But yeah, who just brought a Sean in the chat losing Marcellus Barnes and Jaden Bellamy? You forgot how many guys they lost from the secondary last year, right, guys? That were not veterans. Like Jaden Bellamy, I mean, not Bellamy, pardon me, Barnes. Remember this? Let's go back a year and a half. January 2024, Under Armour All-American game. Marcellus Barnes, worst-kept secret in the country, pops on the Syracuse hat. You're like, whoa. Then he's a starter, but he's injured and whatever, and then he leaves. You're like, oh, man. Like that guy, if he had stayed, in theory, he's the star of your secondary. And now maybe you're not starting the freshman, and he's your third guy. This is college football today. But Samuel got put in a really tough spot. I mean, you're starting as a freshman. The long touchdown, he got absolutely roasted. The long pass interference is kind of whatever. That was a moon ball. Yeah, he interfered with them, but those are really, really tough plays. But yeah, so we'll see how all that comes together. No, Zach, we will not have the press conference here. But we're going to hang out and chat for a bit. Again, I have pinned to the top of the chat a link if you would like to join the show. We do not have a call-in line, per se, with a phone number. We have a video chat-in line that has a chance of potentially actually working. Or not. We'll find out. It's up to you. You gotta go clickety-click on that and try to get in the room. If you're trying to get in the room and it's not working, let me know. We'll troubleshoot. We'll work on this together. Ryan Mullen, if Angeli can get the touch that McCord had, I think we were this year's wide receivers and can put up numbers. Yes. But, Ryan, I want to give Angeli a fair shake. I think Angeli can be a good college quarterback. He's got some tools. He clearly has great anticipation on throws over the middles between the hash marks. That's it. He's a college quarterback. Kyle McCord showed up last year like, that dude, wherever you are, Kyle, let me point at you. That dude is going to be a professional. He acted like a professional all of last year. I mean, for me personally, obviously, I dealt with him more than most. He was fantastic to deal with. Everything he handled like a pro, especially throwing the football. It's an impossible it's the comparison we're going to make, and I understand why we're going to do it, and I'll do it all season long. And apologies to you, Steve Angeli, that you are going to get compared to Kyle McCord all season long. It's completely unfair, but this is the world we live in. You are not Kyle McCord. That is not a bad thing. You are a decent college quarterback, but I think where Steve has is he's got room to grow over the course of the year. What he doesn't necessarily have here is the just innate ability to turn, Jackson Meeks into a 1,000-yard receiver, to turn Trevor Pena into one of the biggest guys in the college football offseason. It's just not what Angeli is. And that's why, all right, I trust Jeff Nixon to understand that. I think his play calling today made a lot of sense. There were some line breakdowns. There was some pressure. Okay. But what can you do on offense to work to his strengths? I think they can handle that. But it's also going to, you can't get into just a track meet shootout every week because you don't necessarily have the horses or the weaponry to do that this year, just because Angeli's not Kyle McCord. And that is not an insult to Steve Angeli. That is full compliments to Kyle McCord. Yes, Rob. Glad to be here for you. We're going to try to make this work. We'll see what's going on. If you'd like to sponsor the show, we'd love that too. Do get in touch. But again, if you'd like to try to join by video chat, we have a link, the pinned comment at the top. You can click on, and it's like calling in, but with pictures as well. And it may even work or not. It worked last night when we tested it. Who knows? Who knows how it'll work now? But awesome, you guys have showed up. Obviously, this has been a kind of a strange summer. So we're trying it out. We're hanging out in the basement. We're talking Q's football. We're talking we're talking Fran Brown. We're doing the whole thing. And Sean, to your point that yeah, I don't get it's not negativity toward Angeli. It's just he's not Kyle McCord. Kyle McCord, man. And that's why I wonder, all right, you're 0-1. You lost to Tennessee. It's fine. You can be 0-1. Go back to the Coach P years when they almost every year started the season with a crazy game. How many times did they start 0-1? It's not a death knell to this season by any means. But how long is the leash on Angeli? Because I don't think he dominated. Like, I think it was an actual competition with Ricky Collins. Now, the next few weeks, you've got your UConns and your Colgates and whatnot. Like you should win the games. And do you just roll? What's up, Orange Post? Do you just roll with Angeli and be like, okay, is there a point? This is where and I think this is the best thing Syracuse has going for it in this situation this year, and it's the same thing as last year, even though it'll be handled completely differently. It is Fran Brown. Last year, you had one guy. You had Kyle. And Fran Brown gassed that guy up from December 1 through December 1. Through December 31, however long Kyle was here. He gave that guy, I mean, not that Kyle was lacking confidence, but, his end at Ohio State was kind of crappy. He gassed that guy up like that guy would run through a brick wall for Fran Brown. Then there was the Pitt game last year. Kyle, to this day, nobody knows what happened on that day. It just, everything went wrong that could have, and then like 7 more things went wrong that could never go wrong again. And yet Fran Brown, Kyle's the guy, not even a thought. Here you have a different situation where it's up to Fran Brown. At some point, you may need to see what you have in the other guy, depending on what happens here in the next month or so. And I trust Fran Brown, even in this era of the portal. Yeah, will both those guys be on the roster next year? Probably not. That's just the world of college football right now. But I trust Fran Brown to handle that situation this year. Can the guys play up to what they need to? I don't know, but I trust Fran to handle it. Villari was disappointing today. Again, it's a tough spot for Dan. He's not a Rondé Gadsden. That's where I wonder, is Jamie Tremble? I like Dan Villari, the football player. Dan Villari, star pass catching tight end. It's not a thing. It's not going to happen. Love Dan. I think his attitude, his vibe, I think just his willingness, his desire to win, I think is huge. But he's not a sticky-handed target in that spot. It's just not what he. It's just not what he is. You're right. It would have been a touch like Gadsden last year on that play at 6. I mean, you don't even think about it. Can a guy like Tremble play his way into that role as the season goes along? I mean, he came in with such accolades. He's not a huge guy, thickness-wise. He's tall, but how can it do? How can it do? I don't know. And yeah, the blitzing today, completely new offensive line. We know Fran likes depth. He plays a ton of guys on the line. That's something we're gonna have to go back on. It's hard to tell watching the TV broadcast who's in there all the time and whatnot. We'll have to go back on that during the week and try to sort through that a little bit. But yeah, where's the line going to be in a month? Where's the line going to be in December? Last year we saw it with Dale Williams. The line in the first few weeks was like, but it really improved. And you got a hammer in your Sin Willis, so I think you got that going on. Defense is the biggest concern. Well, what are you guys thinking? What do you? Is Thomas Castellanos? Oh, is this game on? Oh, Florida State, Alabama. How about getting shunted to ESPN News for the end of the game? That's where I wonder here, Demi Doman. You're right. The Orange D line created no pressure. How are Elijah Robinson, Robert Wright, and crew? What are they going to do in the next few weeks to find that pressure? Last year, you had an X factor in Fadil Diggs. You had an X factor in Fidel Diggs. I didn't see that today. Let's put it this way. I didn't see that today. I don't know how much Gary played today either, Sean. Like, I was looking, he was out there. Delorier played a lot more than I was expecting from a true freshman first game at linebacker. He's a big boy. Derek McDonald kind of has a ceiling, I think, on what he is. I'll be really interested to see how the defense sorts out this year. Like, I think Valari was fine today. Like, yeah, it would have been great if he could have caught that touchdown. It's just he's just not that guy all the time. He's just not that guy all the time. Yeah, I was hoping for another edge guy. I mean, Reese made the one nice play in the fumble recovery, but that was more happenstance than anything. Yeah, so do you start... You know whose name I don't recall hearing or seeing at all today? It was David Amonparola. I liked him last year. I do wonder what are you going to do to get pressure on the quarterback? And there's the other side of the coin. It's entirely possible that the Tennessee offensive line is the best line you play all year. I mean, they were without the number one offensive tackle in the country, a number one freshman offensive tackle in the country who's out hurt, and still they're rolling out just NFL dudes. Yeah. So we'll see how that goes, but that's why I think we grained of salted here a little bit today. That it's possible that toss in Clemson. It's possible this is one of your top two toughest games this year with talent you're playing against. It's possible. We'll see. I agree, Sean, on Demetrius Samuel. Like, he made some nice plays, and then he got absolutely torched a few times. It didn't look to me like, scheme-wise, they were rolling him any extra help just because he is 17. Because of the long pass he gave up, he's going to be heavily targeted again next week. That's just the way things work. So I'll be interested to see if there's any scheme changes to adjust for that. He's clearly talented. He looks the part. He doesn't look like he's like, oh, here's this little tiny 17-year-old out there. But we'll see. Chris Thomas is their best D lineman, Howard. Yeah, I can see that. I noticed him a few times out there. This is when you miss Murad Watson. Like, he would have been a big guy to have this year. You kind of forget all that happened. You miss Murad Watson. And yeah, we'll see where the defense goes this year. Game 1 did not make huge strides from last year. Probably made negative strides from last year. It was Tennessee. That's kind of where we're at. Welcome in, though. This is, we keep our branding. This is the 315 with Brian Higgins Postgame Show. We're live on YouTube. Great group hanging right now. We're hanging in the chat. Again, oh, wait, has somebody attempted to join on the link? Who is somebody trying to join on the camera link there? Is somebody trying to do something? I think I see somebody's head. Hang on. Let's see. We can try something crazy. We can see if we can try to get a person. Oh, did they disappear? Oh, that's disappointing. Wait, is there somebody there? Wait, somebody's there. Hang on, whoever that is. Hang on for a second. Person that's there. We'll see. We're gonna let's see. Is this working? Wait, somebody's popping up. All right, whoever this is, we're gonna try to put you on live. And all right, who do we got? Who is this? Who did I just pop up on?
This is Amir from Tampa. Can you hear me?
And why don't I hear you? I see you talking, and I don't hear. Hang on. What did I do? Try talking.
Hello. Hello. Can you hear me?
New technology. Trying to figure out the new. Oh wait, hang on. I need to click this button. Try again. Hello.
Hello. This is Amir from Tampa. Can you hear me?
This could be working better. I can see you talking. You're live on YouTube.
Yeah, I know
I can see you. I just can't hear you. Why can't I hear you? Do you have yourself muted? Do you have a mute button, like a red mute button?
No, can you hear me? Hello?
Okay, I see you talking. Why can't I hear? I see you. I should be able to hear you. I should be able to hear you. This is a failure on my part in some way. Why am I not? Hang on. Let's play Follow the Cord. Maybe if I click this button. Let's try this. Do I hear you now?
Hello?
No, I don't hear you now. Oh, wait. Do I got to click that button? Hang on. I see a button. Let's click this button. Oh, wait.
Oh, I can hear him. I can hear him.
Oh, wait.
I can hear you.
I got you. I hear you. Who are you? What's your name?
You can hear me now?
I got you. It was me. I had the
Okay,
wrong
this
button.
is this is Amir from Tampa.
Hey, Amir. It works. Try to point your phone down just a little bit. You're cutting. There you go.
Okay.
There you go, man. We've done it. We've figured out technology. It was my button, not your button. What's up, Amir? Welcome to the show. You are officially our first guest in my basement. Thanks for having on.
Okay, so I watched the game. I was watching the game. I was like, I don't know. Like I think this is the second best defensive line we're going to play all season.
I can see
think
that.
the offensive line. You said what?
Yeah, I can. I could agree with you on that. I can see this being, this and Clemson.
I think Clemson's obviously the best offensive line in the country. That's going to be a tough team, but I think this was probably the best defensive line. And the offensive line, it did struggle at times, but I think it was pretty good in the run blocking, in my opinion. They were running the ball really well with Willis and Nixon and James, even though he did have a couple TFLs when they were with James. But I think this offensive line was a little bit better than I expected, even though they had a couple sacks.
Yeah, I'd say, I think you look at Tennessee, right, Amir, of the things that are going to be hard in this game, line play is one of the number one things just because it's SEC athletes. I think that's my hope, right, Amir? I don't know about you, that, all right, going forward, setting Clemson aside because they got those dudes too, right, that hopefully that this will be one of the toughest tests those guys have to deal with this year.
Yeah, I did also see. I think McDonald, man, I don't know. It was when he had that wheel route in the end zone. Like, dude, you got to turn your head around. You're a fifth-year senior. Like, come on, man, you can't be making those mistakes. I don't know, but I do think the run defense was actually a little bit better in the beginning of the game. It was pretty good, in my opinion. It was pretty good at times, the run defense. But I think tackling was like a big thing. Like, especially at the end of that first half, that's what really hurt us. Is when they missed those tackles and they ended up getting a touchdown because the game was in reach. Like, the offense was starting to pick up, but it's like the defense couldn't get stops in the first half when we needed to, but they were getting stops in the second half a little bit. So,
yeah, Amir, I looked down on that last drive. Like, I feel like I thought on the long run, I thought the guy was tackled. I glanced down at something. I looked up. I'm like, what? Why are they on the? What just happened? Like, and then on the touchdown, they had him in the backfield too. And then what's he doing in the end zone? Like, what just happened here? Like, that drive should have been done at the 50. And that, I get it's the opener, right? Like, tackling in openers is not always great, but that's one of the things where you're like, okay, let's get this figured out. Let's get this figured out.
Another thing I did like is what happened to Jonte Cook as well. I'm like, what the heck happened to Jonte Cook? Like, I didn't see him in the second half. He had a really good first half, but I didn't see him in the second half.
I wonder, and we'll have to see what Fran says about this after the game, and he might not throw a guy on the bus. I have half a guess, and you never quite know watching it. Those illegal formation penalties, I think they all might have been Jonte's fault. I could be wrong on this looking at it because you're never quite sure who's in the wrong place. But I got half a sense that he was the guy in the wrong place on all of them. So the coach.
I think one time was Dan as well. I think one time it was Dan as well.
Yeah, like it was hard to you never know which is the guy's at fault when you don't know what the play call is. That, and I think they tossed Tyshawn Russell out there, and Russell had a really nice second half. So I think that was the other thing. All right, Amir. Thank you for hopping on. You're officially the first guest that has joined me in my basement. You've helped us figure out the technology. Thanks so much for hopping on today.
Okay, of course. Thank you for having me.
All right, there's Amir. We figured out a guest. We did it. It was me that hit the wrong button. I see somebody else is hanging out here in the room. Somebody else is hanging out here in the room. Hang on. We got somebody waiting patiently. Hang on. The thing is when you're doing this yourself, you got to hit all of the buttons. So it takes just a little bit longer to get things humming. Hang on. Is this clicking? Is it where he's gonna pop up, right? I see a guy sitting in front of a tree. But oh wait, here we go with a glass of something. Hello, who do we got here? We got you on the screen.
Must be me.
It is you.
Yeah. So by the way, for feedback, Amir and I could talk to each other in the room. I don't know if you want that, but that was the thing. But
I thought I had clicked the button so you couldn't do
first
that.
First time, short time.
I'm glad you got to hang out with Amir. Who are you? Who am I? Who do I have the pleasure?
Yeah, you're Billy. Mike in Connecticut, and listen, I used to tune in and stream like on Twitch. You were literally the best, and I get the economics of local radio and everything, but rooting for you to be on YouTube. If you need advertisers, I'm going to get you an advertiser, but it's just, if nothing else, you're a smart guy that allows us to vent. And speaking of venting, I don't know why anyone's complaining about the quarterback today. He's not Kyle McCord. But Tennessee was returning 8 starters on a defense that only allowed 20 points 3 out of 13 games last year. Guys, we don't have an offensive problem. Elijah might be able to recruit, but I don't know if he can teach people to tackle, and I don't know if he can teach scheme. Defense made no plays today, and it's good. You can tell we got some depth, and we got some guys. Our defense is scary. Our defense is scary. It's not in a good way. But I love what you said at the very beginning too. This is going to be this is the start of a 2-year stretch. If we go 6-6 this year, hallelujah! I'm doing backflips. Next year, I think this team, if we can keep the team together and everything, I think this is to steal Pasqualoni quote, the hottest fire can make the strongest steel. This is a team that's going to be poised for a great 2026. We were a bit spoiled last year. Kyle McCord's not coming to that door, and I don't think Lawrence Taylor or Dwight Freeney are either. But it could have been worse today. That first quarter was a disaster. But Angeli is not McCord. We got to hope the defense comes to play a little bit better. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with you, Mike, and great to hear from you again. Mike in Connecticut used to call in every now and again on the show, and I'll take your sponsors, Mike. I'll take whatever. We've got no shame here. We'll sponsor almost anything. But yeah, I look at what's going on with it, and I'll be interested to see how Fran frames it, because Fran is so much. Hey, we're trying to win the title. Like, they're not winning a national championship. They're not winning the conference this year. Is he going to keep being that brash guy? Is he going to reframe it publicly? I'll be intrigued to see how Fran handles that. And again, you never know in the transfer portal era. It's impossible to plan for a 2-year stretch. But you look at the roster, you look at eligibility, like it's like 2/3 of the roster, something like that, has multiple years of eligibility remaining after this one. Like, there's a lot of freshmen, redshirt freshmen, sophomores on this team. Like, last year was a gift. It was, that is a lightning bolt that you couldn't plan on and could never happen again, with just how many things lined up with Fran and Kyle and all the stuff that happened. I think this year, though, if you not that winning 6 is what they strive for, if you could get to a bowl game against this ridiculous schedule with this young of a team, I think it would be a way more interesting watch, Mike, as a 6-6 than some of these others, like some of the Dino 6-6 seasons, or some of the we're just like, all right, that happened. Like this year, if they go 6-6, I think it might actually be entertaining. So
100%.
That's the thing. Like
100%.
Today the game took way too long, but it was at least all right. Stuff's happening. There was something to watch.
Yeah, after that disastrous first quarter, and again, Angeli was brought in and started to not make mistakes. And when he's literally leaving a football out for a touchdown, I mean, he made 2 major mistakes today, and you got to think he can't be doing that. So I'll be curious to see the offensive line. Again, defense is the issue. By the way, I don't know how the punt team gets a delay of game in the first quarter. That the D and Dart took a punch in the face there.
Yeah.
But we didn't see the kid from South Carolina. We didn't see the kid from North Carolina. So it's going to be really interesting. He stuck. I'm pretty much sure he stuck with the 5 that he did, which were mostly recruits. And then Weatherspoon from last year, the Florida State kid, Collins. So it's really interesting. I don't think we saw 10 guys in that offensive line. So I know there's gamesmanship, but anyway, we were so spoiled last year. We all got internet muscles. Like, we're going to be 10-3 again this year. It ain't happening, people. I just hope Fran can, this is going to be a great learning year for Fran. Hopefully not as bad of a sophomore year as certainly Autry had. And hopefully we don't lose recruits like our wide receiver who's taking the Miami trip. That's the kind of thing. Like, this is going to be a learning year for Fran. We got to have a little bit of patience. If we go 6-6 backflips, next year's our year. But the program is in competitive shape. I'll tune out now. Love the show. We'll get you some sponsors. Thank you for doing this.
All right, Mike. There he is. Mike in Connecticut. Thanks so much. From his backyard. That looked peaceful, and he had a nice, refreshing beverage. All right, we've done it.
My neighbors probably didn't like. So thank God for Long Drink, who should be a sponsor. Take care, Brian.
There he goes, Mike, in Connecticut. All right, we figured we figured it out. We made we made the thing work. We made the internet work. Go team. So if you'd like to be like Amir, who was, where did Amir say he was? Florida, I think, or Mike in Connecticut, you too can join our postgame stream here at the 315 with Brian Higgins, because pinned at the top of the chat is the link to click on the thing and join. So that was cool. We did we did it. We hit the buttons. We did the thing. The technology worked once I realized to unmute the freaking audio, and then we have that. So if you'd like to be next, you can. If not, we'll hang out here for a little while longer here on the stream here today. Good crowd with us here post game here today. Plan is to do it the plan's to do it all season long. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see where it goes. This is literally day one of us doing anything live in this format from my basement. So we'll see what that all leads to, and we'll figure it out. But we'll figure it out together. This is an interactive process. So you guys have been very good on Twitter and Instagram and whatnot over the summer of offering many suggestions of what you'd like to hear from me. That said, the hours of the day and the fiscal realities of things, sometimes you're past the point of working for free. But we'd love hanging out. So if there's any podcasts or this or short videos on the internet or whatever it is that scratches the itch of what you're looking for in Syracuse coverage. We're literally constrained by. I'm sitting in my basement with stuff on the wall. Just give me a thought on what you want to hear. Be it in this chat, be it reach out on any of the social medias. I'm Brian Higgins 315 on Twitter and Instagram as well. Obviously, you know that you're here on the YouTube. Leave stuff in the comments. Send messages, DMs, whatever. I read it all, and we take it all into consideration. We try to give you guys the best content as possible. But Amir, and Mike, thank you. You were the guinea pigs, and you passed the test. I almost failed the test. But you passed the test, and that's all that matters here today. But we got post-game coverage here today, and I think it was Mike. The Elijah Robinson thing is interesting because, all right, let's go back now. It's almost 2 years ago now. It's 21 months ago now. Fran gets hired. The first guy, like the immediate move is getting Elijah Robinson, right? Like that's the first name you heard. Elijah, like Fran Brown, number one recruiter in the country. Elijah Robinson, number one recruiter in the country. Like Texas A&M was paying him more than $1 million to be a D-line coach. They made him the interim when they fire Jimbo and the whole thing. Like there's a lot going on. They get him. This is a big hire. I like Elijah. Everyone likes Elijah. Obviously, he's great with the players. The whole thing. We have not seen, and this is what I said going into last year, is new head coach, and you have a defensive coordinator that's never called plays before. On offense with Jeff Nixon last year, like he had called plays at Baylor before, so he was sliding back into a role in which he knew. Elijah, it's just I'm not seeing a defensive scheme and play calls that are to the level yet that Fran talks about this program being at. And the talent on defense is not that which can overcome that at the moment. Now, as the year went along last year, I think the defense marginally improved as the year went along, and the offense was so good, and McCord was so good that the defense got to play on the front foot so much because of just the way McCord played. Or, go to the Miami game last year, right? Like they're down, what was it, 21-0? They're down 21-0. And because you had McCord, the defense didn't have to change the way it played. Like, because you're like, yeah, we're down 21-0. All right, well, either Kyle's going to sling us back into it or he's not. Like, you could just do that. Oh, Schaefer. Schaef's going through it a little bit on the social media these days. If anyone still follows Coach Schaefer on social media, he's not shy with the political opinions. But yeah, I do agree with it. I always said this. When they hired Dino, I would have loved to Men in Black memory stick thing erase Schaefer's brain so he could forget the disappointment of how his head coaching tenure went. Because I'm like, man, Scott Schaefer's defense with Dino's offense makes a lot of sense to me. I loved defensive coordinator Scott Schaefer when he was here in Syracuse. Things are going a little wacky for him on the social media right now. But it's just like, should I unfollow him? It's like, yeah, well, I don't want to do that. I like Schaefer. Schaefer was good people. So there we go. And, Sean, to your point, like Elijah and Fran go back, decades. They're from Jersey, the whole thing. He just has not been a great defensive play caller yet. That said, his first ever DC play calling job is this one. So he doesn't have a lot of experience to fall back on either. So can he learn? Can he grow? Yeah. I like Robert Wright, who's the linebackers coach, the co-defensive coordinator. He's a really sharp guy, young guy. I think they've got some capable minds there. It's just the defense, especially from the schools that Elijah had worked at most recently, a.k.a. Texas A&M. Like the recruiting classes they put together, with those groups, putting together an exotic defensive scheme would be bad coaching. Because they had so much talent. Now, it didn't work out, but they had so much talent that, well, let's just be blitzing and doing all this crazy stuff like that. Like, you should get fired for that. Now you're here. You don't have that talent. If you have an offense that's going to be this good and this consistent again, in those scenarios, I'm for a defense that takes more risks. Will you give up a touchdown? Yeah, who cares? Now, give me risks. If you can turn risks into a couple of turnovers every game, and you know your offense is going to be able to put up high 20s, get to 30, like if you feel comfortable your offense can do most weeks what it did today, I just, send it. Send it on defense. Create havoc. If you give up a big play, so be it. Because we saw it today. You're going to give up a big play anyway. You at least might try to get something about it. It looks like do we have somebody else? Do we have somebody else that is coming into the video chat? Hang on just a second. Let's get this situated here for a second. We'll get this situated, and we will bring in our next video caller here. If we can. The refresh thing on this is I'm still trying to figure out the back end of this whole thing. It's a little weird on my end. Oh, I'm seeing somebody. All right, we'll bring you on there. We have somebody sitting in a comfortable looking chair. Who has joined us on the air right now? Who do we got?
Oh, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, it's Pastor Tim. I didn't know I was. Yeah, I didn't know I was joining to talk. I just was joining to watch the game.
Oh, well, you join to talk, Tim. Come hang out with us here. Join the show here for a moment.
Well, it wasn't a terrible game. I mean, it's kind of an expected end. The defense really has to learn to tackle, number one. I think the offense settled down, and so they had some good plays. I'm not 100% sold on Angeli. Next week will be a definite confidence booster for him. But I just think that, it's kind of what you expected. I mean, you kind of hoped at the beginning, but they let too many big plays happen. Tennessee got too many plays off. And so it's on to next week now. And hopefully, I think defense is going to be working on tackling this week.
Fran's not afraid of a physical practice. I imagine, Tim, they're probably going to have a few of those this week leading into UConn next Saturday. And, you look at what Samuel gives up the 73-yard touchdown. You get the fumble, and then literally the next play is a fumble, scoop and score for a touchdown. Then the second half starts with the second play of the half being the tipped interception. You look at those three plays, and it's the game. It's the game right there, and you're playing from behind the whole game. So yeah, I'd imagine those three things and the tackling, a little more physicality on defense will be the main stuff this week. All right, Tim, thanks so much for checking in. Thanks for hopping on here. We found our guy, Pastor Tim. We like working people in here. We're working people in. Again, the link is pinned in the top comment in the chat. I pinned it there to start. Brian Bixby, how do we feel about the decision to defer? That I found interesting because I think it tells you a lot of what Fran is thinking, right? I think it tells you a lot of what Fran is thinking because last year with McCord, he's like, just get us the ball. Get us the ball. If I have the ball, we're going to score. This year, first possession, like, well, let's toss the defense out there, and I'd say it's much more traditional, right? To that's how you go about things, right? To put yourself in position to have the ball to start the second half. That is the standard. It was unusual what Syracuse did last year. Syracuse had the first possession of the game damn near every game last year because the other teams would defer, and Fran wanted the ball. So, basically, it didn't matter what the coin toss was last year. More often than not, Syracuse was going to start the game with the ball. I forget if it was literally every game, but, man, you look at the way today went, it could have worked out perfectly because, yeah, to your point, Rob. All right, so end of the first half. So, was it Jonte? Yeah, this was Jonte's touchdown. So, you're down 17-0. Yasin scores at 17-7. Then you give up the bomb on the second play of the next drive. It's 24-7. Then you get the ball back late in the first half. You finally actually forced a punt. You held them back. You go on the 49-yard touchdown drive. It's 24-14. About 3 minutes to go on the half. You miss a few tackles. You give up the drive before halftime. Now, instead of 24-14 at the half, getting the ball, it's 31-14. And then second play of the half is the tipped interception. And, what was it, one or two plays later, it's the touchdown, and it's 38-14. And for all intents and purposes, the game is over. If you don't give up the touchdown in the half and then score to start the second half, you're sitting there 24-21, and it's a whole different ball game. But just the way things happen today, that's just the way it's going to be. Just the way things happen today, that's the way it's going to be, I think, because of Tennessee's, size, speed, size, talent. They got 87 running backs that are running you over, offensive lines pushing you. I mean, Derek McDonald got truck sticked out of the way on one of those touchdown runs. They're not all Jamal Lewis, but it's like they're cloning them at Tennessee. They've had this same guy at running back for 30 years. Like, how do they keep? It's like Jamal Lewis, Travis Henry. Then they have another guy named Travis. They've just had guys and guys and guys. I know Sampson last year wasn't a big guy, but he had 1,500, 2,000 yards, whatever he had. They've just had 8 million guys over the years. It won't stop. It won't stop. But we'll see how it all comes together on that end of things. Again, you're not playing Tennessee most weeks. The schedule is brutal. Tennessee, neutral site, road. Clemson road, SMU road, Notre Dame road, Georgia Tech. I don't know if you saw it last night. They won at Colorado on the road. Hayden Skeen getting an explosive touchdown run late. Miami on the road. Tennessee and Clemson, I think, are the two most talented teams you're playing this year. So one of them's out of the way. That means in 10 of the next 11 games, it's potentially going to be easier than it was today. Good point, NJ Neer. There were no, besides the one delay penalty, abject disasters on special teams today. Stonehouse, who I love Jack Stonehouse and his mustache, he was great, and also he didn't almost have his head taken off on every punt for no good reason because the special teams coach actually seemed to know what he was doing. There wasn't anything exotic. I don't need anything exotic. Shout out to Ricky Brumfeld, the new special teams coach this year. And, you can hopefully stop worrying about just a grease fire special teams. But I still have no idea if they have a kicker. Trip Woody kicked the extra points. They were all fine. Jaden O did the kickoffs. They were all touchbacks. You did not attempt a field goal. The only times you were in anything that you'd call field goal range, you were down by so much you had to go for it. So I still have no idea in a closer game. UConn next week, like you should roll-ish, but the game was tricky last year like that. That could be a one-score type game next week. So we'll see if you need something like that next week. I don't know. Well, we'll see. All right, if anyone else wants to try to hop live on the video stream, the link to hop live and join us. We've had Amir, we've had Mike in Connecticut, we've had our guy Pastor Tim on the live YouTube stream here today. The link is pinned to the top if you'd like to try out that option, and we can get you on our post-game coverage here today. We'll hang out. Man, that game was ages. Like I expected to be done with post-game like half an hour ago or so, because Just that game, that game took 4 hours. I mean, it just kept going. Like the second half, it was a noon kick. The second half didn't start till 2:30. It's like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Very lucky on that, Rob. Also, here's what's crazy on that play: the two people involved with it, the player whose towel it looked like it hit, and the punt returner. It's the Kerr twins. Like, shouldn't we get isn't that when you get the twin telepathy thing? Where was the twin telepathy thing? Give me the twin telepathy thing. Like, they should have twinned the ball out of the way there. Like, how does twin 1 let twin 2 get his towel nicked by a weird rugby punt with Tennessee's weird rugby style punter? How do you have that? Yes, and there were all the flops and cramps. Like, there was real injuries, fake injuries. The one where, oh, man, where Demetrius, well, clearly, Fran was the closest coach. Fran clearly said somebody go down. Demetrius goes down like he's been shot. Deuce is, like, taking a knee, sees Demetrius on the ground, like, gets up, and then Demetrius is like, well, I better play this out like I'm actually hurt here. We better play this out like we're actually hurt here. So, he went to do that. And then, you're just watching it, and like he comes to the sideline after they stretched him out for 19 and a half years, and like goes to like the first person he sees on the sideline, and they start just like laughing with each other. I'm like, if you're gonna do the acting, guys, you gotta realize, like, the scene, like, the director didn't hit cut yet. Like, the scene isn't over yet here. The director didn't hit cut. You gotta do a little bit more than that. Got to do a little bit more than that to play it off. But, man, I hate it. And both teams were doing it. Both teams were doing it today because both teams like tempo. So it's just like, oh, my God. Dude, is this what we're doing today? Is this really what we're doing today? It was so long. It was so 4 to 6 drive time on YouTube, Demi-Dome. Maybe someday we can work toward that. Maybe someday we can work toward that, Demi-Dome. That's you got to organize the finances on stuff like that first. Florida State's the game's on next to me. I'm not looking at. Florida State's up 17-7. If Thomas Castellanos ends up being an actual good quarterback for Florida State, that would be perhaps the most shocking thing that occurred in the transfer portal this offseason. That would blow my fragile little brain. That would really hurt my brain. Like, that can't be, can it? He's not actually good. I realize he won in the Dome that year, but he was, besides just running around like a chicken with his head cut off, he was actually kind of terrible in that game. So, like, what are we even doing? What are we even doing on that? So we'll see on that. All right. Anything else, guys? 38-10 next week. Yeah. Nooner UConn next Saturday. Nooner. Yeah, Ryan. I don't like. You gotta. Because it's tough, right? You can't put in rules where it's tough to put in rules where you are where you now as the ref are being like, yeah, you're not hurt. The first time that happens and that it turns out the guy is actually hurt is just a mess waiting to happen. Is my family watching me live? I don't know. Is anyone up there? But yes, Ryan, it would be nice. I don't know if it's one of those things you go down hurt, you got to stay out for X number of plays. Like, there's been so many proposals over the years, but it's so easy to poke various holes in them that it's just like, yeah, where do we go with all that? Max did watch most of the game with me today. He was down here for the first half watching the game. He had an extra microphone in his hands, ready to jump into action at a moment's notice. Viv was less interested in the game happening today, but that's okay. That's okay. Yeah, the UConn game. Well, UConn game last year was a 7-point game, right? Like, you forget that it was. Did pass interference ever get taught to the officials? I don't know, Brian. Oh man, it was not a clean game for all involved today. That's the plan, Zach. We'll be here post game. The current plan is, and all plans subject to change. Check your local listings, aka my Twitter. The plan is to hang out post game with you. I just did a I just did a quick little looky at the YouTube of the post-game show I maybe used to be on, and we may be dominating them in viewer count right now. So good job, everybody. Good job, good effort on that. So we'll see how it all comes together on things like that. But yeah, the plan is to be here and hang out post games. The plan is to be here and hang out on post games, and we'll see how it goes. The video call thing, that was cool. We got a few on there. We can try to expand that throughout the season, and we'll see where else. We'll see where else. We need stocks. How did the market do this week? Yeah, how's the market? Who wants to be our market update person? Who wants to be our market update person? The show is shots fired. Never T takes. I would never fire shots. That would be ridiculous. Who would ever do such a thing? We don't play dirty pool like that. I just happened to click, and we clicked around. So sometimes you get on you're clicking around. You're just clicking around, looking around. I'm just clicking around the internet. Don't mind me. Don't mind me clicking around the internet. I'm just clicking. Just clicking. Okay. Anything else as we put the wraps on it today? I think we've covered it pretty thoroughly here today. Any last thoughts out there? Any last thoughts? MTV remote control basement vibes. There we go. There we go. Yeah, Tim, I just lobbed you on. See, that's the one thing about the solo thing. I saw somebody there, and I'm like, if you show up there, you're going on the air. Like you don't get a choice at that point. If you click the link to go to the live caller, you are getting launched on the air, and no apologies. And then we'll just do that until something horrible happens on the internet, and then we'll all be canceled. But yeah, first show perform. Yeah, we're gonna call this 1-0. We're going to call this 1-0, MD. We're going to call this 1-0. Thanks to Amir and Mike and Tim, everyone that joined in today, Ryan, Donovan, T-Takes, the whole crew, everyone that's been here. Thanks for all the support you guys have. Hey, Jen, thanks for all the support you guys have given on the internet all summer. It means a lot. And enjoy the rest of the weekend. You are now free to go to the fair. The football game is over. Go get dinner. Less stuff on the walls. No, this stuff is all great. This stuff is all great on the walls. I have a signed Coach Mac game program on the walls. This is all great stuff on the wall. It's I need to adjust myself so it's surrounding me. I think the camera got moved a little bit. I got to back up a little bit. It was slightly further away yesterday. We love the stuff on the walls. We got stuff. You got to have stuff on the walls if you're doing a show from your basement. It's the rules. It's the rules of the internet. All right, everybody. Thanks for viewing. Thanks for stopping by. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Enjoy your Labor Day weekend. Nooner, Cuse, Yukon next Saturday. We'll do this whole thing again. Enjoy your weekend, everybody. Thanks for hanging out. We'll talk to you in a week.